Shock crossed through glory, and it was mixed with an insidious thread of desire. Fallon had her locked against his hard-hot body, so tight she could feel the frantic beats of his heart. Or maybe that was her heartbeat. Her breasts were mashed into his chest, her nipples like hard little points, and every time she breathed, she sucked in the scent of strength and soap and dark spice. Nothing to say? Fallon asked smugly. Let me go now. Trying not to panic, she attempted to lift her arms, attempted to flatten her palms against his chest and push him away from her, but her arms were glued to her side. None of that, he said, lashing onto her wrist with one hand and shoving them behind her. With his free hand, he grabbed at the stick. Clearly, he assumed it was the pen because his grin widened. Mine now, he said, stuffed it into his pants pocket. Do not smile. Give it back. Make me. Not knowing how to respond, she ran her tongue over her teeth. His gaze followed the movement, his pupils dilating. What are you going to do with me? She demanded, or rather, meant to demand. Her voice was breathless. Again, her body was trembling, and with no fury. How did he do this to her? Make her want him despite everything that had happened between them? I don't know, he answered honestly. I need to think about it. Consider my options. Because I can't allow you to run wild, using your powers against everyone who breaks your anger. Yeah, well, before you, I didn't use my powers for bad things. So, I'm just special. Of course, you think so. Good. Her voice has substance now. But the real answer is that you are simply the most irritating person I've ever met. Kiss me. Let it be a terrible experience so that I never crave it again, she thought. He leaned down and traced the tips of his nose along the curves of her cheek, leaving a trail of decadent fire. Glory tried not to ache her hips and hop against his erection, but she did, and oh goodness, was he ever erect, long and thick, hard and smoldering. He groaned, his eyelid flustering closed. Again he commanded, stop, don't do this, don't travel down this road. A kiss is one thing, but this? Seizing her gyrations was the most difficult thing. Seizing her gyrations was the most difficult thing Glory had ever done, but she did. And suddenly he was eyeing her again, lashes casting menacing shadows over his cheeks, an electric gaze piercing her soul. I'm going to kiss you. It was a promise. And you are going to kiss me back. It was a rough demand. No, you are not. Please, please, please. And no, I'm not. Impossible. Yes, we are. We have to do something and to end this madness. Fine, whatever. Do what you want. This doesn't change anything. I'm glad you understand that. Try to take the pen and you'll regret it. I'll regret it anyway. He ached a brow. Do you really have to have the last word? Why, yes, His lips smashed into hers. Her tongue opened automatically, welcoming him inside. He thrust deep, and his flavor filled her mouth, drugging, addicting, white hot. A tingling ache sparked to life in her stomach, then spread to her chest and her limbs. She melted into him. The iron lock on her wrist loosened. Rather than shove him, she wrapped her arms around him, pulling him closer. His fingers tangled in his silk hair. Her fingers tangled in his silk hair. His hands were free now too, and they fastened on her wrist, urging her forward and backward, mimicking the motion of sex. Waves of pleasure constantly sped her. This was what she dreamed of since going to him that night, so long ago. His mouth on her, his hands all over her, his body straining against hers. More, he whispered. She nibbled on his bottom lips. More. He reached between them and palmed one of her breasts, his fingers plunking at the hardened nipple. So perfect. Moaning, she ached her hips. Exquisite contact. Her head dropped backward, and her long teeth traces trickled her overheated skin. Had Fallon not been holding her up with that arm around her waist, she would have fallen. No, wait. She was gripping spikes of his hair, tugging them hard. A few had already ripped from his scalp and were wrapped around her fingers. He didn't complain. She eased closer to him, relaxing her clasp. Her mouth found his neck, and she licked. His skin was a little abrasive, but perfect. "You are so hot," he said. "On fire," she agreed. She licked the stream from his lips. He captured the tip of her tongue and sucked. The hand on her waist slid down, and cupped her ass. As he'd correctly guessed earlier, she wasn't wearing any underwear, and the tops of his fingers teased her most feminine curve. She was so wet. She practically dripped between her legs. "Shit, you are killing me." One of his fingers stroked her clitoris. A tremor rocked her. Shouldn't be this good, not with him. Before the thoughts finished whispering through her mind, her entire world spun. Then, cool back was pressing into her back, and Fallon was tearing her front. He pinned her arms over her head with one hand and palmed her breast with the other. "I knew you'd be this good," he growled, not sounding the least bit happy about it. What? Trying to find her common sense, she blinked open her eyes. When had she closed them? Fallon loomed over her. His features were harsh, lined with tension. His gaze a swirling sea of blues, purples, and pinks. How odd. They'd never looked this way before. His shoulders were so wild. His body seemed to engulf her. Sweat beaded over his sun-kissed skin. He was like an animal whose stomach was rumbling, and he just spotted his prey. Knew it, he finished. Feared it. What was he talking about? Feared what? And why wasn't he kissing her? Fallon, I want this nipple in my mouth. Yes. Please, yes. That's still qualified as kissing. Hurry. He ripped her nightgown down, revealing both mounds of her breasts. They were large, overflowing. The nipples were pink. that hardened Tip's desperate. For a long while, he simply stared down at her. Glory's cheek began to heat, and not with desire. Did he like what he saw? He was used to slender women. He had once turned Glory away because she wasn't his type. How could she have forgotten? Embarrassed to her soul, she jerked at his hold, meaning to slide the nightgown back in place. He held strong. His lips curled in a frown. What are you doing? Ending this, she said, unable to look at him. Be still. No. He increased the depth grip on her wrist, and his other hand cupped her chin, forcing her to face him. Why do you want to end it? Because, like she'd say it aloud. But maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe that's how he meant to punish her. Punishment? Of course. How could she have forgotten? You brought this on yourself. Tears burned her eyes and her chin trembled. What's wrong? You look ready to cry. Let me go, she commanded brokenly, focusing on his nose, and that she wouldn't have to see those amazing eyes of his, and whatever emotion was now back there. A moment passed in silence. Glory, he said. Do it. Look at him. Get it over with. See his disgust and start to hate him again.